Good morning to all. Today I am starting a new chapter of literature, lesson 9, Red Eye. So on this page you can see one activity is given to make a paper snake with the help of a paper plate, some drawing pencils and a pair of scissors. And method is also given. So if you want to make a paper snake, you can make it. Okay. So now I'll start with the chapter. So, do you like snakes? No, we don't like. Why? Because snakes are harmful and they are poisonous also. So, here's a story about a girl called Cindy who had a snake, not a paper snake but a real one. So, now we'll read it that what was the name of the snake, who had a snake, how she kept the snake, and everything in detail. So, here this story, Cynthia is telling us this story. She's narrating this story to us. Okay, my name is Cynthia N, but I am called Cindy. So her full name was Cynthia N, but she was called Cindy. Good morning to all. Today I am starting a new chapter, lesson number 9, Red Eye. So on this page you can see that one activity is given to make a paper snake with the help of a paper plate, some drawing pencils and a pair of scissors. Method is also given. So if you want to make a paper snake, you can make. Now we will start with the chapter. So the chapter is starting with the line, do you like snakes? No, we don't like snakes because snakes are harmful and snakes are poisonous also. So here's a story about a girl called Cindy who had a snake, not a paper snake but a real one. So here Cindy is telling us the story. My name is Cynthia Ann, but I am called Cindy. Her nickname was Cindy and she was 9 years old. She has a sister Emily and she was 12 years old. And she was very afraid of spiders, white mice, frogs and snakes. And especially she was afraid of snakes. But Cindy loves snakes. She said that snakes are really great. So one day last summer, when Cindy was visiting her uncle's farm, she found a garter snake. Garter snake is a harmless American snake with colored lines along its back. So she caught it to take a good close look, and it was as long as her arm, and it had three pale stripes and orange dots on its body. And there were beautiful little blue slashes. Like slashes are what? They are small marks that look like slanting lines. There were on its head. So there were beautiful little blue slashes on its head, and she named it Red Eye. She called it Red Eye. Why? Because it had red eyes. My uncle told me to take it home and keep it as a pet. No, so now uncle knew that Cindy loves to keep pets. So she said, you can take it home and you can keep it as a pet. But Emily said, no, I can't take. Why? Because her sister Emily, she hates snakes and she's afraid of them because she thinks that all of them are venomous. Venomous means full of poison. So uncle said, no, if you take good care, if you handle it properly, garter snakes are not harmful. Oh, Emily won't touch Red Eye, I said. She said, no, she will not even touch the snake. And if I'll take it home, what she will do? She will scream and complain and she will do this thing whole day. So she doesn't want to take the snake home. But then she stopped and remembered the time when Emily has refused to lend her pocket money to buy a present for her father's birthday. And then she thought of the time Emily had reported her for using her hairbrush to brush our dog. But on second thought, within a second, she said, okay, I will take this because Emily will learn a lot from, maybe she'll learn a lot from Red Eye. So when she wanted to take the snake, how can she take that snake? She can't carry it in hand. So aunt gave her an empty coffee can, and then she poked little holes in the plastic lid. Poked means to insert or to punch, and these holes were little ones because Cindy's auntie told her that the snakes are escape artists. Escape artists means performers who can escape from difficult traps, difficult grabs, and they can get out just about anything. And now then she took the great garter snake at home. Now, when she reached home, mother helped her to find one old fish tank from the garage. It was in their garage, and they had to keep it in that fish tank. And for snake, it was just a thing. That fish tank was just a thing for the snake, and it was extremely interesting to watch Red Eye eating. So when Cindy put that snake in the tank, she gave a piece of raw fish as a food for snake. And when she put this fish in the tank, Red Eye opened its mouth very wide and swallowed the piece whole. Coming to the next page. Then for a day or two, you could see a large lump in Red Eye's body. So for 1 or 2 days, it was like at one place the body was looking as if there is a cluster in its body. But after 1 or 2 days, the lump got smaller and smaller, and it went further down. So I have given the difference between FARTHER farther and FURTHER further. Further means actual distance between two objects, and further FURTHER means figurative distance or something that is additional or more. So Emily said it made her sick. Now during the dinner time, Cindy was telling the eating habits of uh, Red Eye. So when she was telling these habits, Emily said that it made me sick. She was feeling sick. And when Cindy showed her the skin which Red Eye has shed, she started screaming. So once a year, snakes shed their skins. Okay, they shed their old skin. Emily didn't like Red Eye, but I loved my snake. I know that all snakes stick out their tongues. You must have seen, no, snakes that stick out their tongues to smell things. But whenever Cindy was around the tank, Red Eye would rise up and stick his tongue out as if to say hello. But one day, what happened? A terrible thing happened. A fearful thing happened when Cindy returned into her room after school. She noticed that the top of the tank was slightly open. In the picture, also, you can see the tank is slightly open, and Red Eye was not there. It was gone. So she started screaming at the top of her voice. And when she started screaming, mother came running into the room. And then she said that somebody left the lid off and that of the tank, and Red Eye has gone. Oh, is that all? So when she said that Red Eye has gone, she said, okay, only this was only the reason why you was shouting. You gave me a scare. I thought something else has happened. And she said, thankfully. Mother said, thankfully. Oh, is that all? And then she thanked, okay. And is that all? Is that all? Now it was valuable thing for Cindy. And while mother and Cindy were discussing about this, Red Eye was wandering around somewhere. Wandering means going from one place to another place without any particular aim. And now she started thinking that it could even die because of hunger. Starve means suffer because you don't have enough food to eat. And then she was also scared that they have a dog also, then a dog can also catch it. And now she just thinking about all these things. She wanted to cry. And when all this thing was happening, at that moment only Emily came into the room. And as she came into the room, Cindy started shouting on her, and she said, "You finally managed to get rid of Red Eye." And when she said so, and she started shouting, "I hope you are satisfied. I hope Red Eye crawls in your bed tonight." So when she was very angry, and she said, "Now you are satisfied that my snake has gone and it is not in the tank. And I wish that today Red Eye should crawl in your bed." So when Cindy was shouting, Emily said, "What do you mean? I don't know anything about red eye. I have just returned from school." But Cindy was not believing her. So when this argument was going among the girl between these two girls, mother came and she said, "Okay, we all will look for red eye." So Emily said, "No, I'm not going to look for any snake." And then Cindy started crying. But when Cindy started crying, she looked at her in surprise. Who? Emily looked at her in surprise and she said, "Oh, you really like that snake, don't you?" She said. "Of course I sniffed." Of course I sniffed means I sniffed is Cindy sniffs here. Okay. And sniffing means when you breathe anything, breathing in air through the nose while crying in a way that makes a sound. When you are crying also and you are breathing also, the sound which comes out, that is called sniffing. So now Emily said, "Okay, I thought you are keeping only because I think you are keeping because it is just to be mean." Just to be mean means just to be selfish. Now we are coming to the next page. So I started to look for red eye. Now she was worried. So Cindy started searching the red eye and she didn't ever want to talk. She doesn't want to talk to her sister also again. Emily watched mother and me for a while and then she sighed. Means she watched and then she gave a deep audible breath. "Well, if that snake is so valuable for you, I'll help you in searching the snake." Who said this? Emily. And when Emily said this, Cindy was surprised because she knew that my sister hates snakes and she's afraid also. For hours, we looked for red eye all over the house. So it was like they all were searching, but they could not find. We searched for it till dinner time. They all searched, but they could not find red eye anywhere. Emily came over and put her arms around my shoulder. Now she came and she gave a hug to Cindy and said, "I'm sorry." "Cindy," she said, "well, we all will search for red eye again after dinner." She said, "Okay, just after dinner, we will search for red eye again. We can't give up." Emily almost never touched me except to poke me. She said she had never touched me. Only she touched me when she wanted to poke me. It made me feel sad. Now, Cindy was feeling very sad. Why? Because she thought that my sister is a bad person. But now, when she was ready to help and she was worried about the emotions of Cindy, Cindy said, "No, my sister is not a bad person and she's a good person." While mother, father, and I were watching television later that night. Now, late night, they were watching television, and that time they suddenly heard some awful screams. Awful screams means very bad screams coming from the bathroom. So they all rushed in that direction, and there came Emily running towards us. And when they rushed towards the bathroom, what did they see? They saw that Emily was also Emily was running towards them, and she was holding a bunched up towel in front of her. And even when Emily saw the parents and Cindy, she did not stop screaming. She was screaming and screaming. Why she was screaming? Because the bunched up towel was having red eye in it. And when she dropped the towel, the red eye slid out of it. It took a while, it took a moment, but finally they settled down, Emily. And then she told that when she opened the closet door, in the bathroom, the garter snake was snuggled among the towels. Snuggled means it was got into a warm, comfortable position. It was in the middle of that bunched up towels. And when a red eye saw Emily, it again started moving. And Emily knew if she would let it go, then it would not come back again. So she holded that bunched up towel very tightly. Now Cindy took that bunched up towel with a red eye in it and she reached the tank and she put that snake safely in that tank, and then she came and thanked Emily. She shuddered. Who shuddered? Emily. Shuddered means shook because of fear. So still she was feeling so fearful that she started her body started shaking. Means it was like vibration. It was vibrating. Shuddered, you can see the meaning, trembled. When you are feeling fearful and then your body starts trembling. And Cindy knew that it has been hard for her to touch a snake, and I knew she had only done it for me. Cindy was aware of this thing, that my sister is very scared. She can't touch also, but only for my sake, she has done such a grateful thing. When spring comes around, she said, when spring season will come, I will take this red eye back to the farm and set it free. It will be safe and happy there, because it will never have to try to escape again. It will never run off from there. And it's the least I can do for Red Eye and for Emily. So she said, this is only a little thing which I can do for Red Eye. I can set her free, and Red Eye can live in the farm happily, and Emily I can live happily in my house, because when Red Eye was in the house, Emily was scared. And if I